Rush Limbaugh saying the most horrifying things he's ever said. And
No, let's not overstay. Here's what we're buzzing about at News Beast. We've got the good crew in today. Rebecca, hello.
Hello.
And Lucas. Lucas, shill, baby, shill. Ted, what's going on?
Ted, there's the TED
That's not supposed to
Backlash.
be on television.
So we've got the TED Backlash. We've got a piece up today by Kent Sepkowitz.
I hate TED.
Have you been?
No, I just hate the
You just
concept
hate
of it. I find it obnoxious. I find the people who go obnoxious.
But it's full of big ideas, important ideas that
Whatever.
we need to hear, Rebecca.
It's
no?
insufferable. It's twee and bite-sized.
Twee?
And
Would you just,
annoying.
for the American audience, define twee?
It's just it's become so overly precious. I mean, I guess it was always precious, but
And
it's just
glib
they're
and-
also glib is exactly the right
Yeah.
word. They're also impressed with themselves.
Unlike all of us, they're very glib.
Yes. Said the man wearing tweed. Anyway, go on.
Well, I mean, I think Rebecca's basically captured what everyone's saying about it, is that it's a bunch of like kind of nerdy guys who all of a sudden have become cool, and they get up on stage, and women, of course.
and preach to like a big pseudo-intellectual audience who pay a ton of money to go there and listen.
And in 10 minutes, they capture these big ideas, and everyone walks away feeling like they've gotten, they've read an entire book, or they have a new way of looking at the world. And in fact, they're just getting kind of talking points.
And as the literator of the Beast books, this must be especially offensive to you.
It is indeed. I believe that people should go
The
past
ASME-nominated
the
literary
jacket
editor.
copy, past the back of the book, and get deep into it. 500 pages, really, really dig deep. And TED doesn't allow us to do that.
Well, okay then. Rebecca,
Yes.
so
It's
you
been a
actually
message from Book Beast.
trademark. You picked something that I don't generally gravitate towards these sorts of stories, but Arnold and Maria in counseling. Kind of fascinated by that. I thought they were past the point of no return. The 10-year-old child living with you seems point of the past.
Yes, well, she filed for divorce on July 1st, but the divorce was never finalized, and they were just photographed earlier this week, virtually canoodling.
Virtually canoodling.
At the Ivy, which is a particularly cheesy Los Angeles restaurant where people go specifically to be photographed.
To be seen?
So it looks like we may be on the verge of a Shriver, Schwarzenegger rapprochement, exactly. Which, horrifies me, but who am I to say?
As a self-respecting
Well,
woman,
this is
or?
a woman who, well, yes, as a self-respecting woman. I mean, look, it's her freedom to choose. You have no idea what goes on inside
Absolutely.
a relationship. Whatever. She could do whatever she wants. But that doesn't mean that we can't from the outside. She's a public figure. She hosts a women's empowerment conference, for Christ's sakes. So I think we're well within
She
our
may
rights.
not be hosting that in the future.
We're well within our rights to just look at this like a train wreck, just like.
But hold on. So and she was sort of acting as a surrogate mom to her half,
kid
or
who
to
looks
the child.
exactly like him. I mean,
And at
it's
some
just-
point, you're thinking this is creepy, right? What are the odds?
Very
Very creepy.
What's in the water?
It just makes me feel. I mean, to imagine yourself. I imagine myself in Maria Shriver's position, and I feel very sad.
Yeah.
It just seems like an impossibly sad situation. If in fact, like the greatest happiness is reconciliation.
Especially for a woman of that prominence and position and power.
I mean, she really, like it or not,
it.
she is a role model. And a role model is a person who we imagine like what we would do in their situation. And so it's only natural to look at this, I think, and
And
just
even more
be-
skeevy, she was the character witness when he was running for governor, being like all those accusations.
And she
on
lied
him
for
last
him. I
week.
mean,
Yeah.
she in the early days of the scandal, she lied and said no, he had no affair.
Or she believed it.
Or
I don't
she
know what's
believed
sadder.
it.
Right. Speaking of sadness,
You always reach for these transitions.
well, no, they're just right
Speaking
there.
of people on
segue.
Earth, here's another story.
People, speaking of sentient beings,
not
Olympia
so.
Snowe is retiring from the Senate. And
Wow.
And here's
that
why.
was a double backflip 360 in the
But
air.
here's why it's
Triple
legitimate.
axel.
What a
by
landing.
John
Thank you very
Avlon.
much. Thank
What a
you very
landing.
much. Yes, appreciate that. Well, we want cards actually in the future. That would be even more awesome. She's retiring from the Senate. She said, "Screw it. I'm not running for re-election. Everything's gotten too crazy. Republican Party's too far right. It's not worth the fight. There's no power in the center." We got a piece up by Eleanor Clift today about the Blunt Amendment, and which she was the only Republican to vote against this sort of contraception loophole that would have given employers the right to opt out of any health care plan, health insurance plan, if they had moral or religious obligations, which then obviously becomes like not a loophole, but like a giant.
It just
Right.
destroy healthcare.
You know, I mean, this, and the irony is also the Republican Party goes rhino hunting, but now they're going to have a harder time to recapture the Senate. because that seat's going to probably go down.
Right.
It really is making President Obama look quite smart for having introduced the whole issue of contraception into the political debate this year, because it's really riled up. I mean, to read women's blogs yesterday, which I was doing gleefully, Jezebel did a great job with this. Just I'm riled up. I mean, it's.
Well, Michelle Goldberg's been covering it.
Rush Limbaugh is calling, you know, I mean, Rush Limbaugh is saying the most horrifying things he's ever said. And
now, let's not overstate.
Exactly.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
This week.
The most horrifying things he's
So
said.
everybody's getting their base all riled up, which I think is an atmosphere that's not particularly welcoming to somebody like Olympia Snowe.
And it's certainly been helping Santorum, but I think it's also in some ways leading to his sort of downfall here, and that you know he took taking the bait on these cultural issues, and that's what's hurting him with even some of the primary voters.
Right, and independent women, just sort of abandoning the Republicans, moving back towards President Obama, which accounts for his poll numbers. Lucas, final word.
Glib.
Rebecca?
Girl power.
Girl power it is. I'm going to go tweet because I still don't know what it is, but I like it, kind of. Not really, sort of. That's all for us at News Beast. Have a good weekend. We'll see you tomorrow. Or Monday.
We'll never see you again.